In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
And I saw her face. I'm a believer.
Shrek, what donkey? We gotta talk about your eating habits. You've been eating too many carbs. So what, donkey? Well, first of all, it's not healthy for you, Shrek. And second of all, have you ever heard of Jimmy Moore's new project called Keto Whiteboard.info?
No, I don't think so.
This virtual library of 60-second whiteboard videos explain low-carb, high-fat, ketogenic diet concepts in easy-to-understand language that even an ogre can easily understand.
Really?
Really? It's really something for keto newbies. You'll be tripping over yourselves like a babe in the woods to see these fun educational videos.
And what's the website, donkey?
That's ketowhiteboard.info. Forget the waffles. I eat keto. So in the morning, I'm making bacon and
I
eggs.
saw her face. I'm a believer.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live. And we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. You'll see how the fun begins over on Instagram. So if you're not following me there, go follow me on Instagram. I'm at Living Low Carb Man on Instagram, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you are there, you can engage in the content live, just like all these people are doing right now. If you missed the live, it's all good. You can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, it does disappear. Go check out past episodes, over 200 and counting, over on YouTube. Type in a keyword, Jimmy Rants. You will find the show. Finally, we have the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form. The Jimmy Rants podcast is on Apple Podcasts as well as Stitcher. JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants got another one of these headlines, guys, because they still are out there trying to diss on keto. And you guys know one of the hallmarks of Jimmy Rants is I'm going to call you out if you talk smack about keto. And so we're going to get into the contents of what's in this article, but what we're talking about here today is this whole idea that is put out there that the ketogenic diet is extreme. So I asked the question, what's so extreme? What exactly is so extreme about a real food-based diet like keto? You guys know, you see this stuff out there. You see them when they try to make these claims that they can't help themselves when they are describing the ketogenic diet. They can't help themselves but to call it an extreme diet. What I never see is extreme as a qualifier on a vegan diet. Extreme as a qualifier, and this truly is an extreme diet. Extreme as a qualifier on the standard American diet. That is extreme. Eating mostly crappy garbage is incredibly extreme. But I digress. Let's get to today's headline that we're going to talk about. This was published a few days ago. I've had this printed out for a few days. But the title of it is the Keto Diet Safe? USC experts have some serious concerns. Dun, dun, dun. Dietitians may recommend the popular high-fat, very low-carbohydrate diet plan. They do? I have never once heard a dietitian recommend a low-carb, very high-fat diet. I've never once heard any mainstream dietitian recommend it. There are a few keto, low-carb dietitians that obviously do, but the mainstream, they scare you the bejeebies out of you about going on a high-fat, very low-carbohydrate diet. For certain patients, they say. But most of us, here's that phrase that's coming up, most of us can get the same results without going to such extremes. So again, I asked the question, which is the topic of this Jimmy Rants down there in the pin post. Why, pray tell, is a ketogenic diet that is based on real whole foods considered extreme? What is so extreme about eating bacon and eggs and vegetables and salads, especially like spinach? I love spinach salads when I was eating vegetables. Right now I'm doing keto carnivore. Maybe they think that's extreme too. Avocado, berries, nuts, seeds, all of these beautiful real whole food, butter, coconut oil, real whole foods that you can consume on your ketogenic lifestyle. And they call this an extreme diet. Whereas if you have a meat, quote unquote, patty that's made up of all kind of chemical ingredients and soy and nonsense, oh, you're eating so healthy. That's extreme. Vegan meat is extreme. But a ribeye is supposed to be extreme? Yeah, right. Anyway, I digress. Back to the article. The keto diet, a high-fat, moderate protein, very low carbohydrate plan. Hey, at least they got the memo that it's low carb, moderate protein, high fat. So kudos. It might be eclipsing paleo and Whole30. There's no might about it. It's eclipsed them both. It's far bigger than paleo ever was. The diet asks for cutting out major groups of food. Major groups of food? Let's see what major groups you cut out. Grains. Is there an essential grain in your diet? Major groups of food? What good are you getting from grains that you can't get from other food sources? You say fiber. Okay, how about green leafy vegetables, non-starchy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables? Plenty of fiber there. What nutrients are you getting from grains? Nothing that you can't get from animal-based foods. Let's go to the next one. Legumes. You're cutting out whole categories, major food groups, legumes. Guys, I do quite well without eating any beans at all. I don't need beans. Beans make me fart. No, thank you. Mic drop. Beans are heralded because they're a non-meat protein source, but they're very high in carbohydrate as well. And I don't need the blood sugar or insulin spike that come from eating beans. Okay? So, no, I'm happy to cut out that, quote, major food group of legumes from my diet. And dairy. Who says you have to cut out dairy on keto? Yes, some people have a dairy sensitivity, but I'd say the vast majority of people that eat a low-carb, moderate protein, high-fat ketogenic diet do just fine eating dairy. Right now in this keto carnivore, I'm including dairy products. It is from an animal after all. So cheese and butter, cream, all of those things are on the menu when you are eating keto. Sometimes you'll cut back on certain nutrient-rich vegetables. What vegetables do you cut back on? You cut back on the ones that are full of crap, full of carbs, because that's not good for your body, okay? So you still get to eat lots of great nutrient-rich vegetables. Broccoli, cauliflower, green beans, asparagus, squash. Need I go on? And that's not even counting all the green leafy vegetables. You can have kale and spinach and lettuce. I could go on and on and on of all the nutrient-rich vegetables you get to enjoy on keto. And yet, in this article, they want to make the nonsensical claim that you don't eat nutrient-rich vegetables or you cut way back. And see, here's the thing about vegetables. Vegetables are a carbohydrate, yes. They are a healthier carbohydrate, yes. Some people, don't misunderstand what I'm about to say, but some people even get a blood sugar response from consuming vegetables. I just said that out loud. But it's true. And I remember talking with the nurse that worked with Dr. Atkins in his clinic. Jackie Eberstein is her name. And Jackie told me one time that there were some times that they even cut back on green leafy vegetables on some of their patient population because they got a blood sugar and insulin response from eating them. That doesn't mean that those things are bad, but in the context of the metabolic state of those patients, it was no good for them to over-consume vegetables. And what would be the purpose in doing that? Because they have a health halo? Because people think they're generally healthy? And they are, by the way, not discounting them. But they think they're generally healthy. And so, well, you can eat unlimited amounts of vegetables and be just fine. And that's just not true for some patients. If you're just joining us, we are going over another one of these little headlines. You guys know I like to do this on Jimmy Rants. The headline is the keto diet safe? USC, I think that's University of Southern California, experts have some serious concerns. So we're going over what some of their concerns are. And so far, they said that you're cutting out major food groups like grains, legumes, dairy, and even nutrient-rich vegetables. So let's continue. The idea is to get your body to switch from burning carbs to burning fat for fuel, and in turn producing ketones, which leads to ketosis. That's all true. Maybe you've seen hashtag keto on your Instagram feed. Maybe you found Jimmy Rants because we're talking about keto here. Here's the Instagram imagery they see when they look up keto, hashtag keto. Plates heaped with steaks, bacon, and avocado. Yeah, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Steaks, bacon, avocado, all perfectly healthy, keto-friendly foods. What exactly is wrong with that? All nutrient-dense foods. Did I just say that out loud? You heard me right. Steak, bacon, and avocado, full of healthy fats, healthy micronutrients, complete proteins. It's good stuff. Meal delivery companies are accommodating keto eaters as well, like they might for vegetarians or vegans, even offering strip tests to test your ketone levels. So, yeah, there are some companies that, yeah, they have the pea sticks. Not a lot of them are promoting breath ketone testing or blood ketone testing because they're more expensive. Those are the gold standard, by the way. Blood ketone primarily, then breath ketones, and then finally urine ketones. But you'll see a change in the urine ketones if you just start keto. But USC experts, here's where we get to the heart of this article. USC experts say to exercise caution when you're trying out this new keto trend. 90% of Americans have been on a diet, and when you ask them why they're dieting, is it for health or to lose weight? The predominant answer is to lose weight, according to the USC person that they talked to in this article. We're trying to change that, by the way. And the reason they turn to diets for weight loss is because that is what culture has taught them. So don't blame people if their main reason for being on a, quote, diet is to, quote, lose weight, because that's exactly what the culture has taught us. All those years that The Biggest Loser was on television, all those years that the extreme weight loss and all these kind of imagery of when you want to lose weight, you go on an extreme diet. And so that's the imagery that people have. What I'm trying to teach in my teaching is go keto for all the reasons but weight loss, because there are a plethora of reasons why you would go keto that go well beyond shedding pounds on the scale, which is fleeting, by the way, and it's also unpredictable as to what's going to make the scale move. To me, the lot better reason to go keto is all the myriad of health benefits that come from it. So if you're able to have your brain function working really, really well, and you're able to calm your mood, you're able to go long periods of time without eating, you're able to lower your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your blood insulin levels, all of those things are a lot more reason why so many of us are keto today. But in this mainstream article, oh, well, they want to do it for weight loss. Let's continue. So it's no surprise keto, essentially a new take on the Atkins diet. I did a whole Jimmy Rants about this the other day. Go look it up on YouTube. No, keto is not just another take on the Atkins diet. It's a totally different diet. Yes, it's similar in a lot of ways with the carbohydrate restriction, but the fat and protein, there's a very specific prescribed way to do it. on keto that is far different from what Dr. Atkins mentioned in his diet. It is popular because it results in weight loss. But long-term, dun, 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 the keto diet could be detrimental. Says who? Says who? Show me the randomized controlled clinical trial that shows that a long-term ketogenic diet could be detrimental. It doesn't exist! It doesn't exist. But they make these claims much in the same way that they ask us to give them evidence for the long-term health benefits of keto. They don't have long-term health detriment of keto. So anytime you read something like this cockamamie type of stuff in a news article, ask where's the evidence for that? There's no evidence that a long-term keto diet will be detrimental in any way whatsoever. Here's their reasoning. Since we know cutting out carbs increases health risks and mortality over time. We know. How do we know? How do we know that, Professor Cohen? How in the world, Dean Pinchas Cohen of the USC Leonard Davis School of Gerontology, how, pray tell, do we know cutting out carbs increases health risks? What risks go up? Last time I checked, when you cut carbs, you lower inflammation. When you cut carbs, you lower insulin. When you cut carbs, you lower blood sugar. When you cut carbs, your body does nothing but heal. It does. And mortality over time? Was this guy parroting the vegan propaganda points? There is no randomized control clinical trial that is showing that a ketogenic diet that's well formulated and based on real whole foods is increasing any health risk and making you die sooner. It's just not true. But they put this kind of nonsense in an article. The ketogenic diet is usually something that's prescribed by a registered dietitian. No, it's not. No, it's not. Ketogenic diets are the antithesis of what a registered dietitian is promoting to their clients. They are not putting people on a ketogenic diet. If anything, they're scaring the bejeebies out of people away from getting into a state of nutritional ketosis because they see it as a dangerous state. And as we put in the pinned comment, an extreme state, as if it's going to harm you in some way or fashion. Jessica Lowe, for example, a Keck School of Medicine of USC ketogenic dietitian. Okay, so she's a dietitian that uses ketogenic diets. She said she might prescribe it to a patient who has epilepsy since there's research that shows it can help control seizures. And that's true. We've known about this research since 1921. That was when ketogenic was coined for the very first time, when they discovered this molecule in the body and they gave it the name ketogenic. So it's been very well known in the research world since the 1920s for controlling epileptic seizures. But they always bring this up, you guys, because when they say, oh, you don't need to eat keto, it's an extreme diet just for people with epilepsy. The epilepsy diet, which I've done a whole Jimmy Rants. I was recently at a conference, the Metabolic Health Summit conference in Long Beach. Go and look up the conversation that I had with a lady there from the Charlie Foundation, and she told the story about the version of a ketogenic diet that they use for kids with epilepsy. Far, far different than the diet that we're talking about when we say ketogenic. What we're talking about is nutritional ketosis with the purpose in mind of general health. What they're doing is controlling seizures with the ketogenic diet, and the ketogenic diet is a 90% fat, 10% protein, 0 carb, basically diet. Nutritional ketosis is somewhere between 70 to 80% fat, maybe 20% protein, the rest carbs. And that is general health ketosis. Not the same thing. Two totally different things. But they always have to bring it up. Well, this is only a therapeutic use of a diet. And they're not acknowledging that there are people doing this for general health. And there's certainly nothing wrong with that. There's also growing interest in whether a high-fat diet could help with brain injury or neurodegenerative diseases, says Lowe. Remember, she's the ketogenic dietitian. Well, yeah, we know, and I even put this in my book, Keto Clarity. 5 years ago, I put this in the book. Traumatic brain injury, very common for those people to go on a ketogenic diet. Why? Because the brain thrives on fat and ketones. And when you feed it ample amounts of fat, you produce ketone bodies, and the brain just goes, woohoo! Yeah, I sounded like Mario from Super Mario Brothers there, but yes, your brain thrives on the high-fat diet because of the ketones. And don't forget, 70% of your brain is fat. So it stands to reason that you'll do well. Same with neurodegenerative diseases, things like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and some of those kinds of things. We've seen improvements when they increase the fat and lower the carbohydrates, thus producing a state of ketosis for those purposes. So there's no growing interest. It's there. For the everyday dieter, though, this ketogenic dietitian named Jessica Lowe, it's important that you consult a registered dietitian. No, it's not. You go see a dietitian. I want to do a ketogenic diet. Oh, you're going to give yourself heart disease and you're going to mess up your brain because you need 130 grams of carbs a day or your brain can't function properly. Are you out of your mind? You're not going to have any energy at all. You're not going to be able to survive. You're going to die. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that that's not exactly what's going to happen when you go see a dietitian. That's exactly what's going to happen. So no, don't go see a registered dietitian. I would recommend, if you're interested in the ketogenic diet and wanting to get the benefits of it and want to learn all about it, hire yourself a keto coach, hire a nutritional therapy practitioner, get somebody that's in your corner to be on your side that knows all the ins and outs of why nutritional ketosis is a good thing for you and that can hold your hand along the way. That is who you need to hire. Not a registered dietitian, not a medical doctor. You need somebody that understands this abundantly. And I've got a lot of recommendations. If you need any help with that, definitely send me a direct message. I'll be happy to help you with that. So, is the keto diet safe? The main problem. So, this Jessica Lowe, who's the ketogenic dietitian, the main problem with it is that it's not nutritionally adequate. She is a ketogenic dietitian telling people that the very diet that she advocates for is not nutritionally adequate. Why? Because it doesn't have fresh vegetables and fruit. Okay. We've talked about the fruit thing before. Fruit is nature's candy. Fruit really, you don't need fruit. Fruit is just a sugar bomb with some nutrients in it. That's what fruit is. And if your body can tolerate those carbohydrates, go for it. Have all the fruit you want. I can't. Number one, I don't eat sugar, so my palate is such that fruit is way too sweet now. So I can't even eat fruit. I can't even have a strawberry. It blows my head off. It's so sweet. But she often tells her patients to supplement their keto with fresh vegetables and fruit. Why do you have to supplement? Fresh vegetables are a part of a well-formulated, real foods-based ketogenic diet. Jessica Lowe, ketogenic dietitian, you know better. You know better. And yet you're putting this nonsense out there that you have to supplement your ketogenic diet with fresh vegetables and fruit. Quite frankly, you don't need either one. Yes, you can add both, but you don't need either one. You get plenty of nutrients from animal-based foods. And I'm so sick and tired of the dismissal of animal-based foods like meats and dairy and all of this stuff. Why are you dismissing it? Those are some of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. And yet, oh, fruits and vegetables has the little health halo going on. There is nothing you can get in a fruit and vegetable that you can't also get in animal-based foods as far as a micronutrient. Every single micronutrient, and I would say in more abundance, is available in animal-based foods that you get from fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. Okay. Otherwise, Jessica Lowe says, you're at risk for micronutrient deficiency. No, you're not. Read our book, Real Food Keto. We wrote this whole book all about it. Let's see here. It's back here somewhere, but Real Food Keto. I know I got a copy of it real close. There we go. Real Food Keto. That's the book. In there, we talk about all of the healthy, nutrient-dense foods that you could be consuming to give you all the micronutrition that you need. And in one of the chapters, we talk about micronutrients. And we get very deep into exactly what you get from the foods that you consume on a ketogenic diet. And we list out all the vitamins and all the minerals and everything in here to show you that you are not in a micronutrient deficiency, Jessica Lowe. You're just not. And you're lying to people when you tell them you're at risk for micronutrient deficiency. Get your head on straight! Because you're not helping people. You're not helping people with the lies. And if you truly are a dietitian and have gone through the understanding of how nutrition works in the body, you know this information backwards and forwards. And for you to omit this in your teaching and in a news article where you're being quoted, you tell people that the concern you have about a ketogenic diet is that it leads to a risk for micronutrient deficiency. Wrong! Building on Dean Cohen's concerns, Jessica Lowe says it's also unclear how long-term keto dieting can affect your bone health. Show me the study, Jessica. There is no study that talks about bone health concerns. If anything, eating a mostly animal-based foods diet, and if you want to add in a few leafy greens in there, actually increases your bone health, the strength of your bone health. That makes it worse. How are you having any problems potentially with osteoporosis or other bone health conditions if you're eating a real foods-based diet full of animal-based foods, which include dairy, which would make your bone health strong? I don't get this, you guys. Then she said, then there's this whole ketosis thing. It's not dangerous. Yeah, no kidding. Thanks for letting us know, Captain Obvious. We just do not have an understanding as to what the long-term impact of ketosis is on one's long-term health. I'll tell you the long-term impact. Lowered inflammation, lowered insulin, lowered stored body fat, improved cognition, stabilized mood. Pretty much your health just gets better. So if that's a side effect, bring it on. I'll take that side effect for the rest of my long and healthy life. Thank you very much. Mic drop. For certain populations, in particular those with intractable epilepsy who are placed on a ketogenic diet, reaching ketosis is necessary. And that's true for a lot of those people. But they pretend like they're the only group that should ever be in ketosis. To me, if you're getting benefit from being in a state of nutritional ketosis, why would you come out? What is the purpose of the whole, and this is very popular, maybe I do a whole Jimmy rants about this, but there's a popular notion of, well, nobody should stay in ketosis. You should naturally cycle in and out and in and out. And I'm going, when you get kicked out of ketosis, it can be very difficult to get back into ketosis again when you have certain metabolic conditions like insulin resistance and other issues. So if it's hard to get back in, why would you come out? And if you're getting benefits from it while you're in, why would you ever come out? Stay tuned. I'm going to do another Jimmy Rants all on just that issue. I'm going to continue with the article. Is the keto diet safe getting results. Michael Gorin, a Keck School of Medicine obesity researcher, obesity researcher, here we go, guys, said you can get the same results as the keto diet without being so extreme. Oh, Michael Gorin, please pray tell me how you match the same impact of a keto diet without eating keto. Let's see what this is about. He advises his patients to cut out added sugars. Okay, that's good. Sodas, juices, and processed foods. That's a good start. Good job, Michael Gorin. What else you got? And also cut out simple carbohydrates that metabolize into sugar faster and lack fiber. All right, so he's saying get rid of refined grains, refined sugars, even get rid of soda and juice and processed food. I'm on board so far. Sounds pretty darn keto so far. Here's his quote. Those are the main culprits you should be worried about eliminating from your diet. That's all he says. So he's telling people the better way than going to the extreme of keto is to cut out added sugars like sodas, juices, processed foods, and simple carbohydrates that metabolize into sugar faster and lack fiber. The unwritten thing that he did not put here in this prescription is, yeah, sure, have rice, have potatoes, have starchy carbohydrates like sweet potatoes and other such starchy carb sources. Have those things, sure. What he doesn't realize is those complex carbs, and he's also not saying whole grains. Oh, eat the whole grain bread. What he doesn't realize is all of those foods that are chock full of carbohydrates still are still going to give you problems. It's disgusting that there is not this acknowledgement that once your metabolism has gotten to a brokenness that has led you down this pathway of insulin resistance, yes, I do think a lot of people can heal their insulin resistance, but a lot of people not so much. I'm one of those people where it's extremely difficult for me to have something like even a sweet potato, which I love sweet potatoes, but I can't have those things. So it's all high and mighty, Mr. Obesity researcher Michael Gorin. It's all high and mighty for you to say this is better than going to the extreme of keto. Just cut out processed sugars and simple carbohydrates that turn to sugar and lack fiber. But you're ignoring the elephant in the room. Obesity researcher, you should know better than this. You should know that even those so-called whole foods-based, carbohydrate-based foods are still going to raise blood sugar. They're still going to raise insulin. They're still going to have a negative impact in the body. I'm so sick of these experts that try to preach to us, well, if you just talk about eating real whole foods, okay, great, in general. I wrote a whole book about it called Real Food Keto. And in that book, we talked about, yes, whole foods is the basis, but for some people, it's not just whole foods, but it's whole foods that are devoid of carbohydrate or at least extremely minimized on carbohydrate in order for the healing to happen. And with their failure to acknowledge people like me and others like me that are out there that we can't have those real whole food-based carbohydrate foods because they still have a detrimental impact on our bodies, there's a blind spot. And he's an obesity researcher. And he can't even see this. We're almost at the end. Lorraine Turcotte, a metabolism researcher at the USC Dornslife College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences, said that although it's less trendy, long-term healthy eating is the tried and true solution. This ticks me off to no end. Long-term healthy eating. So many of us came to keto because we tried healthy eating for a very long time. And when you just generically, esoterically say healthy eating, what's the default? Cut your fat, eat more healthy whole grains, eat more fruits and vegetables. That's what they mean when they say healthy eating. That doesn't help anybody. We need some guidelines that would help people, which is why keto is so popular. There are specific guidelines to help make it work. And if you didn't have the guidelines, how would you know what to eat? Telling people to just eat healthier and have a healthy eating plan doesn't tell them a darn thing. And so we have these kind of experts that try to chime in. This lady here is a metabolism expert and researcher. Metabolism and healthy eating. The other thing healthy eating doesn't take into account is where that person is in their metabolism. Did they come from what I used to do, 16 cans of Coca-Cola a day, whole boxes of little Debbie snack cakes, gobs and gobs and gobs of refined carbohydrates, where I really did a number on my metabolism? So that today, even all these years later after eating low-carb keto, I still have issues metabolizing even the so-called healthy carbs. So why not acknowledge that there are segments of the population, people like me, patients, who need to even cut their carbs from the, quote, healthy sources? It's horrible that we've got obesity researchers and metabolism researchers quoted in this article, and they can't even acknowledge that people like me even exist. Oh yeah, baby, I exist, and I'm going to keep ranting all about your bullcrap. She's not sure why people prefer, quote, difficult dietary manipulations than to say, I'm just going to eat moderately, a well-balanced diet, lots of fruits and vegetables. My goodness. And they wonder why people are so crazily confused about what to do when it comes to their weight and health in regards to their diet choices. And I, for one, you guys know that watch Jimmy Rants often, I don't put up with this. I don't. I like calling people out because they need to hear our voice loud and clear. We've tried the standard advice. We've tried cutting our fat. We've tried eating more healthy whole grains, more fruits and vegetables, eating a more balanced diet. We've tried every bit of that nonsense advice. And where has it gotten us? Sicker, fatter, on more medications. Thank God I'm not on any medications because of keto. I don't take any meds. Don't need to. Do I still have weight to lose? Yes. And I'm taking proactive measures to deal with that go well beyond just my diet choices. And the sooner that these obesity researchers, metabolism researchers, ketogenic dietitians understand this and know that there's no such thing as an extreme diet when it comes to keto, because it's just real whole foods that nourish the body, keep inflammation levels under control, keep insulin levels under control, lower blood sugar, all good things in your health. And I'd be danged if they're going to dismiss it as just some passing extreme fad diet. It is anything but. All right, I've gone long today, but I had a whole lot to say in that one. Thank you guys for being here. So I'm going to see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate you guys hanging out with me here on Jimmy Rants. CKS of 3G says, get him, Jimmy. I did get him. Josh says, hashtag keto my butt. Thriving on fat, you're not allowed to hate the fake garbage. That's true. They will hate on you if you do. It's extremely amazing for your mind and body, says Thriving on Fat, talking about ketones and ketosis. Yes, it is. Never thought of myself as an extremist, says Nita. If you eat keto, you must be on that extreme diet. The love of money is the root of all evil. Sad diet controlled by food and pharmaceutical powers. Sadly, CKS, that's probably more true than not. And then the dietitians and medical doctors that parrot all of that nonsense to their patients, they're pawns in the game. To me, if I was a medical doctor or a dietitian and I got payment from a pharmaceutical company or the food companies to promote certain messages that go counter to what you know is actually healthy and true for people, I don't have that kind of unethicalness in my body. There's no way I could do that. I would be the rebel that says, no, stop eating this crap. Stop eating carbs. Ashton says, I guess I'm an extremist then. I find nothing over the top about keto. Gladly have bacon and eggs or ribeye steak. Bring it on. All day, every day. Nita says, I'm extremely happy that I'm getting healthy. Yeah, see, that's the missing element here. How do they explain that so many people who go on a well-formulated, real foods-based ketogenic diet get better? If it's so extreme, how is that manifesting itself in the lives of the people who actually do this way of eating? Do they have an answer for that? Can they explain people like us who see such great benefit from going keto? I think they want to ignore us because they know if they acknowledge us and the benefits that we're getting, then their ruse is up. And most of these dietitians and medical doctors and other people whose whole entity and whole identity of what they promote to patients and clients is based on their bias of what they believe, that if they acknowledge something like keto is legitimate, it all unravels for them. It's one reason Jillian Michaels came out so strongly against keto is she knew if people recognized the value that comes from keto, her whole career is up in smoke. So that's why she came out like a bulldog against it. Val says, I have to educate several family members who believe all of this crap. We all do, sadly. RescueGal says, I'm having the same problem with friends on Facebook. She's considering trying keto and other friends are trying to tell her it's extreme. I would just simply ask, what is extreme about real whole foods? Because that's the way to respond to it. If they use that kind of word, and they do use it by design, by the way, it's an extreme metabolic state. What's extreme about eating real whole foods? There is nothing extreme about eating real whole foods. And if you happen to lean towards the ones that are less carbohydrates, then so be it. But it's real whole foods. How is eating real food extreme? And yet nobody looks at someone eating Doritos and McDonald's and Ding Dongs and Ho-Hos and Coca-Cola and thinks that it's extreme. That, to me, is extraordinarily extreme. I wish somebody had slapped my hand all those years I was guzzling and drinking and eating all that crap down my throat. I'd be a whole lot healthier today, although I probably would not be doing Jimmy Rants right now had I not gone down that path. Joette says, my dad told me the other day that I should probably add some cereal to my diet since I don't eat any veggies and fruit. Joette, I would say back to Dad. So, Dad, what am I getting in the cereal that I'm not getting in the foods that I'm eating? It'll be really interesting to hear his response, Joette, and definitely let me know how that goes, because they say these kinds of things, but they don't know the why. It'll probably be something about the fiber, and then you can explain, well, I get all the fiber I need from vegetables. What else, Dad? Well, it's got to be the micronutrients that you get in the cereal. Well, what micronutrients is that? And so try to nail him down on a little bit, and then from there, say, well, I get all of these micronutrients from the keto foods that I eat. So again, why do I need the cereal? So if you're logical about it, it's very easy to counter a lot of these arguments that people make about keto. This is my rant on a regular basis, says Downtown Vapors. Yes, they like to peg it as extreme, and unfortunately, it's not. It's not even close to being extreme. I would say keto is probably a lot more normal than probably any other way of eating there is, because low fat is extreme to me. You eat a low fat diet, you're basically cutting out one of the essential fatty acids, or the essential elements in your diet, fatty acids, and you're not able to absorb fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K when you're eating a low fat, no fat diet. That's extreme. And then you have all these meat-like products that look like meat, but they're made of like vegan, vegetarian ingredients and soy and all this kind of stuff. That's weird, guys. That's extreme to me. Going back to vegetable oils, canola oil, and those crap oils is detrimental. I went on vacation for 5 days, tried to stay as keto as I could. Most dinners out with family still ate keto-like food, says Leslie. You do the best you can when you travel, and then get back on plan again when you get home. Can't control the oils used at restaurants. They couldn't cook my food in butter. It's been a week since, and I feel like crap. Yeah. And see, that goes even beyond the carb aspect. You're bringing up another element of the extreme nature of the healthy diet that the people like those dietitians and stuff say we should be eating those vegetable oils because they're better for our cholesterol, which we've addressed that before on Jimmy Rants. But they're not. They're highly inflammatory, gonna make it very difficult on your body. Anita says, that's exactly what will happen. Exactly. It really will. Hashtag dramatic Jimmy made my morning, says CKS. I love getting animated. This is called Jimmy Rants. If it was Jimmy Melancholy, I'd be like this. Today, guys, I'm going to talk with you about... Nobody would watch that. So the show's called Jimmy Rants for a reason. I love you too, Dory. Thanks for being here. My relatives have a history of diabetes and Alzheimer's. Yes, I need to lose weight, but I'm trying to prevent following in the footsteps of my ancestors. I love these Jimmy Rants. You rock it. Thank you, Anita. Jen says, sure, I wanted to lose weight, but part of why I got started on keto was to prevent dementia. My healthy and fit mother passed away in her 60s from dementia. Sorry to hear that, Jen. But yeah, you will fuel your brain quite well. There is a reason why they're calling Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes, you guys. It's literally diabetes of the brain. And the reason your brain gets diabetes is you're not fueling it properly. And so this is why eating a low carb, which minimizes the glucose effects in your body, high fat, which becomes the fuel, not just for your body, but especially for your brain, which again is 70% fat, that produces ketones, gives you the benefits in your brain. You guys see me come on here every single day on Jimmy Rants. And I'm always trying to exhibit, look, this is a guy that's not eating carbs. I am having 0 carbs right now in my diet. Do I ever look like that my brain health is suffering in any way, shape, form, or fashion? I would hope not. Maybe some of you think I'm cray-cray. But the rest of you, you see somebody whose brain is very sharp. And it's because of the fat and the ketones that I'm fueling my brain with. So, Jen, you will make your brain healthier and hopefully ward off the dementia that sadly got your mom. She sounds like a government or AMA or ADA paid mole imposter. What the heck, says Keto Neo Genesis. Yeah, that I was reading if you're just joining us and you missed me reading the article that was the subject of this Jimmy Rants. One of them was a dietitian who called herself a ketogenic dietitian. And then she was talking about micronutrient deficiencies and you need to supplement things in your diet and it's an extreme way of eating and it should only be for epilepsy, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I probably know a lot more about keto than this dietitian does. Supplement with vegetables and fruit like they're the same thing. Yeah, exactly. That's another one, CKS. I hate that whole fruits and vegetables because it's like as if they're the same. And they're not. Clearly, very clearly not. How does she call herself a ketogenic dietitian? Exactly, Dory. No way possible. A Jillian flunky, says Tori. I love when I'm able to educate people about the nutritional awesomeness that comes from keto. And see, thriving on fat, people don't believe you until they experience it. And it's one reason I always tell people, if you're going to try keto, try it for 60 to 90 days. Don't just do it a few days, oh, that sucked, and then don't do it anymore. Everybody knows there's an adaptation period that can take some time. And over time, if you don't weigh yourself every day, which is another detriment that people, oh, I'm not losing weight. Give it time. It's about so much more than fleeting weight loss. As the unpopular authors Jimmy Fung and Jason Morse So is Jessica Lowe, who slapped a pen name and fake credential to dupe and confuse. So Keto Neogenesis is referring to a previous Jimmy Rants where I called out where people were stealing my name and Dr. Fung's name and Dr. Westman and different people with book covers on Amazon. That's what she's referring to. See, I love my longtime Jimmy Rantsers because you guys bring up old stuff I've talked about. CKS says, my 500-pound plus sister is now coming to me about low carb. She watched me for 2 years and I'm ecstatic. She's been doing this for 2 months, says she loves it and feels better. See, that's the pay dirt. When you get beyond all the hyperbole, like what we talked about here today, where it's described as extreme and nutrient insufficient and blah, blah, blah. When it comes down to it, real people are changing their lives. And that is why we're all so passionate about this, because we know the life-changing capability that keto presents. And when you can be a living example of that to other people, especially loved ones in your life, there's nothing more satisfying. Obesity researcher says, life in pics, working for who? Yeah, exactly. I don't want to hear the research that comes out of that facility if they can't even recognize keto. Keep ranting. Love it, Jimmy. Thank you, Brian. Dory says, as soon as someone says they're an expert, I know they're full of it. Yeah, you'll never hear me say I'm an expert. I have never pretended to be an expert. I have a lot of knowledge and a lot of personal experience, but I don't bill myself as a guru or an expert. I just share the information and let you decide what you believe. Get these keto haters on your podcast and educate them. Brian, I would have a field day with these guys on Living La Vida Low Carb show. Eric Madrid, MD. See, there's a medical doctor. Eric is a medical doctor that understands keto. And he knows all of this nonsense that's put out there about keto is just that. It's nonsense. Prior to keto low carb, a balanced diet helped very few of his patients lose weight. It doesn't work. Alberto says extreme, giving up their natural drug, which is sugar. Now we're getting somewhere, Alberto. That's probably what a lot of it is. I had 2 different diabetic patients, Dr. Madrid said, get off their insulin just this week alone because of keto. And see, they don't want to hear that, Eric. They don't want to hear that you, as a medical doctor, are pulling insulin away and diabetes drugs away from someone who has type 2 diabetes. They don't want to hear that. It's not possible. It's too extreme of a diet. It's not sustainable over the long term. You can't possibly expect those people to not eat grains and bread and pasta for the rest of their life. Are you out of your mind? And then you're going to clog their arteries with butter and coconut oil and meats and cheeses? How dare you? How irresponsible of you as a medical doctor. I know you've heard all of that, dude. So. Lumishine says, why the hate about keto? I just don't understand it. Well, again, I think there are a lot of forces at play. There are a lot of people that have basically built a career around low-fat, healthy whole grains, and that kind of messaging. So that now, when the exact opposite is presented and patients are seeing great results, they can't acknowledge it without basically sabotaging their entire career and what it's been built on. So I get why they fight back. What I don't get is if you're a medical professional, and Dr. Eric Madrid is on here, if you're a medical professional and you're seeing great results from your patients, regardless of the modality, the end result is the point, not how you got there, the end result. And if what they're doing is healthy, why wouldn't you support them, right? Kitty Caddick says, only grandma we have left fasting insulin 17, thyroid antibodies 4,400. Whoa. She agreed to keto, but I found at least a half a banana a day in her diary, healthy or unhealthy balance. Well, see, in her eyes, she probably sees the half a banana. It's only a half a banana. Never mind, it's got, 16 grams of sugar, 15 grams of sugar in it. That's what we're up against, Kitty Caddick. Kimberly says, I've never had better health than on keto. I'm going to keep going. You the man. Well, Kimberly, you're a shining example of what we're talking about. 4 patients total this year off of their insulin due to keto, says Dr. Madrid. I believe it. I believe it, Eric. My extreme diet made me fat, body out of proportion, sad, sick, forgetful, tired, missed out on my kids playing. God led me to keto for a reason. Now that's my extreme. I'm very proud to call it extreme if that's what they want to call it, because I'm getting extreme results. That's all that matters. The extreme results. I say this often not to sound morbid, but to put a perspective on this. Had I not gone on a low-carb diet a la Atkins 15 years ago, today I would be dead. I honestly believe that, you guys. With all the things that I've continued to deal with, yes, it's a challenge, but the fact that I'm still here to deal with health issues and to manage them the best that I can and not 6 feet under. I don't mean to sound morbid, but I lost my brother at 41. And every male in my family has had major heart issues at about my age now. So I don't think it's too hyperbolic to say that I would probably be dead today had I not gone on the Atkins diet in 2004. And to me, that's perspective. That is the kind of thing that I want these obesity and metabolic researchers to understand, that keto saved my life, and it's saving the lives of so many of you guys. And they have to start acknowledging. I hope one of them finds this video on YouTube and goes, oh my God, what are we doing? Why aren't we getting this message? That's why you guys see me on video every single day, because sooner than later, they're going to realize what a huge mistake they've been making ignoring this message of keto. There's my girl, Music Girl 1972. Hi, Christine. I dare these experts to tell me face to face that the sausage and eggs I'm eating right now is making me fat. I'll give them a little education. That's my girl. Mama Ors, I always tell people I eat healthier now than I ever did. You're so right. No one said anything to me when I ate crappy garbage. They don't. They don't. It's accepted. When you eat a junk food diet, oh, everybody does. Oh, well, good for you eating everything in moderation. like that's a thing. But the moment you eat bacon, like this morning, I had sausage and eggs and cheese on my plate here at this hotel we're staying in. And I could see other people putting like the little pastries and the waffles and the fruit and all that. And you could almost see the scorn in their face when they saw what was on my plate. And I'm going, why is what I'm eating considered extreme, and yet what you're putting on your plate, which I don't even see as real whole food, is considered normal? It's really weird. It's almost like we're, and I say this often, it's almost like we're in an episode of The Twilight Zone. Cereal is like eating pure sugar, says Brian. It is. Even the non-sugary cereals are chock full of sugar, vis-a-vis they turn to sugar in the body. Middle of a Forest says, if it has a label, do not eat it. Hashtag simple keto. That is a way to do it. And if you stick with real whole foods, it's certainly hard to mess up keto. That's for sure. As Dr. Boz says, we are sorry we gave you all the wrong info about nutrition for the past 60 years. Yes, Gail, that's true. My wife says, I'm definitely cray-cray. Well, thanks for keeping it real, girl. Keto Coach Lauren, what's up, girl? I wouldn't be able to work like I do if I wasn't going keto. Yeah, you're full of energy. And so am I. It's something that's often missed in all the mocking about my weight and mocking of me that happens online. Nobody ever acknowledges, oh my freaking gosh, how does he do everything he does? I do this on a daily basis, this Jimmy Rants, and I do 5 podcasts all during the week. I write books. I have 2 books coming out before the end of this year. And I'm running out of time in this Jimmy Rants, by the way. Always doing stuff. So somebody explain to me how I do that. I know there are so many more comments here, guys, but I'm getting the countdown on my screen now that I'm running out of time. Struggling and obsessing over the calories is extreme, says Keto Stoner. I agree. So the bottom line of this Jimmy Rants, guys, is you're going to read articles like this cockamamie one that I read today that are going to talk about keto being extreme, and all it is a real food-based diet. So what exactly is so extreme about that? That's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. This is the first one that's gone all the way to the very end, and I'm getting the countdown. So lots of engagement today. Thank you so much, you guys. So jimmyrants.com is the website. As always, we start off over on Instagram Live, as I like to say. So go follow me there at Living Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage in the content live, just like all these amazing people did here today. Thank you guys for being here. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay. Got hundreds upon hundreds of people that watch all of these on replay. So thank you if you made it all the way to the very end of this hour-long episode on replay. After that, it does disappear from Instagram, but we throw all of the past episodes up on YouTube. So go follow me on YouTube. Put in a keyword Jimmy Rants, either in a YouTube search or a Google search. You will find the show. Finally, the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form is on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. Go leave us a review there if you haven't already. So definitely check it out. jimmyrants.com is the website. And I've got 10 seconds left to go.